Another simple way that you can make a lot of money in business that people overlook. Jot this down. It's what I call arbitrage. And many businesses, especially in the trading industry in particular, this is how the wealthy have made most of their money. What is arbitrage? Well, let me give you an example in a business context. I know many successful Australians that went to, say, Bali, for instance, and set up businesses. So let's say setting up a cafe in Australia may not be high profit margin because there's a lot of high labor costs, etc., and it can be thin margins, and people can struggle to make money in Australia. Yet they've gone over in Bali, and because they're able to arbitrage labor costs, meaning they can employ people for very low cost, but Australians that go there will often still pay Australian prices or close to that in some cases. They're able to arbitrage the difference between what tourists will pay or Australians will pay, and they only have to pay a very low price in labor costs as an example. So they're able to arbitrage two markets. And as a result, many people in Bali, particularly Australians, have built extraordinarily successful businesses that may have not been successful in Australia because of the high labor costs. Give an example. I invest in startups, so it's funny, one of the most recent startups I invested in was not something high tech. I've invested and built companies in Bitcoin, etc. But this wasn't even low tech. This is a business I would have never invested in a startup in Australia. It was a wholesale bakery. But because it was in Bali and because the right people were in place, I was happy to be the main investor in that business. Why? Because such low staffing costs, massive margins. So a business that I would not think is sexy or profitable in, say, Australia, in a different marketplace, you can arbitrage. Does that make sense? So consider arbitrage and how you can benefit from that in business.